Hello friends, it's me again, Dr. Aprajita Rao. I hope you are doing great. And today we'll continue with cell biology. Topic today is cell membrane structure and function. Like you know, we have started with the cell organelles now. So according to cell theory, like we have already studied, cells are the main unit of organization in biology. And the cells are contained by a cell membrane that keep the pieces inside. Like these are the pieces, and there is this membrane outside that is keeping the pieces inside, kind of like the wall of your house. So we can think of a membrane like it is a big plastic bag and it has some tiny holes in it. So the bag is there so that all the cell pieces and fluids are inside the cells, and any nasty things are outside the cells. The holes are there so that some things can move in and move out, just like a door. So the plasma membrane is like a guard at a gated community, and it is the duty of the guard that he should inspect who enters the house and who leaves, and make sure that only the people and things needed in the community are there. So what is a membrane? Membrane are nothing but surface coverings of every cell, and there are membranes that surround almost every organelle in the cell. So the membranes have the following functions. First being keeping all the cellular components inside the cell, like hair. Second is it allows selected molecules to move in and move out because it is the guard. Third is isolating organelles from the rest of the cytoplasm, allowing cellular processes to occur separately. Like we all have separate rooms in our houses. So it is the duty of these membranes to have different rooms and give different rooms to every child, that is every organelle. It is a site of biochemical reaction and allowing a cell to change shape. So next we'll go to the history of the cell membrane. So the cell membrane was first seen in 1924 by Mr. Gorter and Grendel, and they came up with the thought that it is primarily composed of phospholipids. This is the chemical molecule of phospholipids. And what is this phospholipids? To understand this, let's talk about soap molecule. Soap, here I am talking about the detergent your mother uses to wash clothes with. Okay, so what does it have? It has a long hydrocarbon chain and a charged head. And this charged head, it forms a film on water. This charged head is very water loving. It forms a film on water, and this film attaches with the dirt of the clothes. So when you wash away the soap from the clothes, the film takes the dirt with it and your clothes are in turn clean. So agitating soapy water makes micelles. Micelles are the soap bubbles. So when we make lather of the soap, this is what happens. Okay. So the water loving charged head is towards the water, and the hydrocarbon chain, it is actually scared of water. It is water hating or scared of water. So they align themselves like this. So similarly, in the phospholipids, the main component of cell membrane, they behave like soap molecules. So this is the hydrophobic tail, and this is the hydrophilic or water loving. Philic means loving. Okay, so head. So they deduced that based on the properties of phospholipids, the cell membrane was actually a bilayer. Bi means two. So there were two layers in the cell membrane. And the cell membrane formed because the phospholipid molecules spontaneously orient themselves. How they orient themselves? The ones who like water are towards the water, and the ones that hate water are away from the water. Okay. So the fatty acid tails are hydrophobic in nature, and the phosphate group head is hydrophilic in nature, and they arrange in a bilayer. See, I'll give you a quick tip on how to remember which is hydrophobic and which is hydrophilic. If you remember, there was an experiment we did in our lower classes. If we put oil on a film of water, there is water and there is oil over it, so they don't mix together. Okay, oil keeps on floating over the water. Okay, so fatty acid is nothing but oil or any fat. Fat is oil. Okay, so oil, it hates water. It is hydrophobic. That's why it does not mix with water. So you'll know fatty acid is hydrophobic and phosphate, then it is hydrophilic in nature. Then in 1930s, there was evidence that showed that proteins were also a part of the cell membrane. In 1935, Mr. Dennelly and Davison proposed a sandwich model, which is very popular, and they said that the phospholipid bilayer between two layers of protein is present. Okay, so this was what they suggested, that there was one, this is the first cell membrane and this is the second cell membrane. There is an intercellular space in between. Okay, so this first layer is light layer, is the phospholipid bilayer, and the dark lines here that which you can see are proteins. This is what they thought. But later on, they realized that this is the first membrane, this is the second membrane, and the two dark layers are actually nothing but phospholipid heads. Okay, and the light ones are phospholipid tails. So there was no protein in this. The phospholipid molecule, it has a glycerol backbone, and on one side it has the fatty acid group, which can be saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid, and on the other side it has a phosphate or alcohol group. The fatty acid group is there because of this fat the cell membrane is fluid in nature. Then in 1972, Mr. S.J. Singer and G. Nicholson proposed that the membrane proteins are actually inserted inside the phospholipid bilayer. That's why in the sandwich model they were not able to see it. See, this is the membrane and the protein is actually incorporated within the layer itself. So this they called it as the fluid mosaic model. This is a very important question, that who gave the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane. So after understanding of this complete structure, what are you going to write in your exams? So there are 4 basic points. First being, it is a phospholipid bilayer. Second is, plasma membrane is amphipathic in nature. What is amphipathic? Amphi means it has both the properties, that is, it has a hydrophilic head, that is water loving. Philic is loving, water loving head, and hydrophobic, water hating tails. We have already discussed this. Third is that it is a fluid mosaic of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. There are lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. And the last point is that the lipid bilayer, which contains 2 layers of phospholipids, phosphate head is polar, that is water loving. Fatty acid tails are non-polar, that is water fearing. You can draw this diagram in your exam. Now we'll talk about the individual components of the cell membrane, that is fat, protein and carbohydrate. So fat composition affects the flexibility, like we have already discussed in the previous slide, and the membrane must be fluid and flexible for it to function properly. It should be as fluid as the thick salad oil, that is like pretty fluid. So why the percentage of unsaturated fatty acid is so crucial? It is very crucial because it keeps the membrane less viscous, and it is very important in cold adapted organisms. All the organisms that live in the cold temperatures. Okay. The unsaturated fatty acids in our cell membrane, it increases in all of us in the autumn. And the very important fat which is present in all our cell membranes is cholesterol. Okay, this is cholesterol. Next comes membrane proteins. Proteins determine membrane specific functions. That is, cell membrane, organelle membranes each have a unique collection of proteins, and that is how they function. There are 2 basic types of proteins. First is the membrane protein. Membrane, as it means, it will be peripheral, that is around the cell membrane. Okay, so it is the peripheral protein. They are loosely bound to the surface of membrane, and as it is outside, it will definitely identify things. So it will have an identity marker, that is antigens, because it will have a role in identifying what should come inside the membrane and what should not. Then the second type of protein is integral protein. Integral means something to do with the inside. Okay. So because it is to do with the inside, it will penetrate the lipid bilayer and usually across whole membrane. This is only outside in the outer layer of the membrane, it will be in the whole membrane. So whole means transmembrane. Trans means through and through of the membrane it will be there. Okay? So these are usually the transport proteins. That is, if there is something out here, the protein will take it with it and go through it through the membrane and take the molecule inside the cell. So they are basically channels or pumps. Now, very important question that a student once asked me was that why is it that you teach so much proteins when you are teaching cell membrane? Why are they so important? So the answer is that proteins are the most versatile molecules you can see. And plasma membrane, it has to perform a variety of functions like we discussed earlier. And for proteins, we have a large group of proteins available, different types of amino acids, and each amino acid has a different property. So it can perform differently, like it can be hydrophilic, it can be hydrophobic, it can be acidic or basic. So proteins can basically do anything almost. It can do almost anything and bind with anything. So like I was saying that there is a whole class of proteins. So this is one class. Okay. So what is common in all these? They all are non-polar and hydrophobic in nature. Okay. So they will be the tail part. And what is common in all these amino acids? They are all polar and hydrophilic. So they will be towards the water. Philic means loving water. Okay. So these are the functions of proteins. First is this. This is the transporter protein. That is, there is this channel. The molecule will enter from here and go inside the cell. This is the enzymatic activity. Enzyme will attach to the protein and the membrane will start doing its function. Then self-surface receptor protein. So this is like the key and lock. This is the key and this is the lock. So this is the receptor and a specific type of key is supposed to fit in it. And when this key fits in it, then the membrane starts to function whatever the receptor is supposed to function. Like this key is supposed to do to the receptor, that is how the cell starts to function. Okay. Then cell surface identifying marker. This one, it will identify what kind of things are coming. Is it a thief? It is a bad cell. If it is a toxin. So it is very important in immunity. Okay, so it will always know that this is the wrong thing, this is a toxin, I am not supposed to let it in. Cell adhesion, like two cells joining together. And attachment to the cytoskeleton, that is attachment to our body. So these were the various things about proteins that we needed to talk about. Moving forward to the carbohydrates. This is the last part, so you can relax. And they play a key role in cell to cell recognition. That is the antigen thing I was talking about, if you remember. So ability of the cell to distinguish one cell from the other. This is the function of carbohydrates, that is making antigens, and important in organ and tissue development. And because of this, it can recognize who is who, it can reject the foreign cells, and that is why it is very important in the immunity of the body. Now we have already done what are prokaryotic cells and what are eukaryotic cells. So today we'll do that. What is the difference between a prokaryotic plasma membrane and a eukaryotic cell plasma membrane? So in a prokaryotic plasma membrane, there is a phospholipid bilayer and there are proteins. That's it. Okay. But in a eukaryotic plasma membrane, obviously they're supposed to be advanced. So there is supposed to be a phospholipid bilayer, a protein, and addition to that, there will be carbohydrates which are absent in prokaryotic. Then in the middle of the bilayer, the fatty acids of the phospholipids are found, which is called the hydrophobic region. Okay, the fatty acids will be there in the middle of the bilayer. In eukaryotic, it is a fluid phospholipid bilayer. It is fluid in nature and embedded with proteins and glycoproteins. Glycoproteins are not there in the prokaryotic cells. Then prokaryotic cells can have multiple plasma membranes. Okay, this is not there in eukaryotic. Eukaryotic can have only one plasma membrane. In prokaryotic organisms, plasma membranes are responsible for controlling the entry and exit of the cell. In eukaryotic, the phospholipid bilayer is arranged in such a manner that they form the center of the membrane. Okay, similar to this one. And they also contain sterols, which are not present in the prokaryotics, which makes the membrane less permeable and hence to stabilize the membrane and add rigidity to the membrane. So basically what we come to know is that a eukaryotic plasma membrane has a bit more stuff than the prokaryotic one, and because of evolution is definitely more advanced in nature. So friends, it is all I need to tell you about the plasma membrane structure and function. In the next video, we will be discussing the cell membrane transport. Until then, keep watching Edupedia World. Keep following my videos. Please like them on YouTube. I really need it. And see you soon. Bye.